What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Apocaflix Movies here on a Friday afternoon. It is 4 p.m. Pacific right here on the channel, and we are here for our first official review of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And I got to say, after watching the first episode, that intro gets better and better every single time because you actually see the footage in the context.
He's saying that because he made it.
You're damn right I'm saying that because I made it.
It's funny because here I was going to give you a compliment going, God, I love that intro. And then you're doing it yourself. So never mind.
Every once in a while, I deserve to give myself a couple pats on the back. And that is definitely one of them. Yes, guys, we're here. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier is officially here. It has arrived. We have our first episode in the books, a whopping 50 minutes, 47, somewhere around there, with credits and whatnot. But we're going to talk about it. We're going to, talk about the ins and outs of the episode. Spoilers, obviously, always involved here on Marvel Rewind. If you guys have questions, if you guys have comments, throw them out in the chat. You can also hit that Streamlab link, which is right above Jacob there. It's also in the description down below. Rachel, if you don't mind throwing that in the chat, that would be awesome. We'll take your guys' questions about any kind of theories you may have, things you didn't like, anything like that. We would love to hear from you all, but let's just get to it, guys, because unlike WandaVision, when some of them are 27 minutes, whatever it may be, this was a whopping 47 to 50 minutes long. It's a regular television episode, right? And when I'm talking cable-wise, where the commercials are in play and everything, this is a full-on regular TV episode length, and we got a lot of stuff. We got a lot of stuff involved in this episode. We see where Bucky and Sam are 6 months after the events of Endgame, which is where it takes place. And we get some really cool information as far as what they've been doing, kind of their involvement in certain stuff. Jacob, I'm going to start with you, man. Instant thoughts, reactions, just a few sentences to kind of sum up what you thought of this debut episode.
Man, so obviously we reviewed WandaVision for 9 weeks, and for the most part, we were raving about it, and I would come on every episode and say, oh, I loved it. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I freaking loved this episode.
Spin that record.
Funny is, after episode 4 or 5 of WandaVision, I knew I was going to love every episode. This one, I knew I was going to like this, but I didn't know how much I was going to love it. And the reason why is because I wasn't prepared how character driven the story was going to be. I thought it was going to start off, they're already together, boom, boom, action. I mean, we do get an action scene to start off the, second scene of the episode, but it's all about these two characters, what they're going through personally, their personal lives, all the drama involved, and we'll get into depth on those things. But for that reason and more, I loved it very much.
Brian?
I am so happy we are back to the good old Marvel type of stuff we've come to expect from I'll say Captain America-ish type thing.
This is the Captain America world. It's
yes.
Like there's the Thors, there's the Iron Man parts of like the MC. This is the Captain America side.
And they all have very different
exactly,
tone.
yeah.
And this is absolutely the Captain America tone. And I love it. I love it. This is my favorite, probably my favorite type of tone of the storylines of certain characters. WandaVision, we know, is kind of all over the place. Thor is transitioning to funny. Guardians of the Galaxy is kind of intertwined into that. And this one's that serious, like, crime tone that, although it's like a slow burn, it's like you're still on the edge of your seat the whole time, like wondering what's happening. And I love it. Love it.
It's beautiful. It's just so good on the way they and it's funny, obviously, like Brian mentioned, we're kind of getting back to the typical MCU formula that we know, especially with the Captain America side of it all. It very much feels like a Captain America movie. Like that's just like the type of action you're getting, the character work, et cetera, et cetera. And we get that insane opening sequence with Sam, which we'll get to here in just a second. But I was not expecting to enjoy the quiet moments so much. Like that's what this, and they did a really smart thing in focusing so much on it in the first episode this isn't just like a one episode thing where we're going to see these quiet moments throughout this episode. That's like the basis of the show.
Mhm.
Like when they eventually get together, the Sam and Bucky stuff of them together sitting in a couple chairs or walking on a sidewalk or something like that's going to be the basis of the show for a lot of the moment or a lot of the series. We'll get the action and stuff like that, but a lot of it's going to come down to the dialogue. It's going to come down to the acting from the characters, the development of certain characters that we'll see, and
very much the way Winter Soldier built.
Yeah, they did a really smart thing in throwing as much of those moments in this episode to make sure we know that that's what this show is all about. Like that's exact. Like they're moving the characters forward, not with action, not with like universe kind of stakes, but simple things like the relationships and the characters of Sam and Bucky, which is a really, really big deal. But let's pump the brakes a little bit before we get too far ahead of ourselves. Let's talk about this opening stuff, this opening sequence here. We open with Sam, putting on if I'm not mistaken, a suit and tie. Correct? That's the opening scene, right? He's in his bedroom.
Yeah, he's ironing his suit.
Yeah, he's ironing suit. He's put on the suit and tie. He's got the shield, and then we fast forward a few moments here, and we learn that he's essentially going to what we can consider Steve's funeral. Right? That's kind of.
I didn't take it that way.
Well, no. So let me finish.
Okay.
I was going to say, for what everyone seems to think it is, for the world out there, the easiest way of explaining it is that it is Steve's funeral because Captain America, Steve Rogers, is no more. Mm-hmm. To Sam, he know
lives on the moon.
Yeah. To a lot of people, right? They know that he's not dead. Some people believe that there's those myths like, where is he? Is he watching over us? Like the example of him being on the moon looking down on us. But for, just easy conversation, we can say that he was at Steve's funeral, talking to the press with the shield and eventually handing the shield over for a case in the museum, which is a big deal. Let's stop after that moment. We obviously see James Rhodes popping in as well. Don Cheadle getting in there with some action. We'll stop right after the museum stuff. Brian, what did you think of this whole sequence?
I personally was very happy that it wasn't a funeral. I took it more as it was the opening of this museum exhibit at the Smithsonian, and to honor him. So I'm glad it didn't go into that somber, like really sad tone.
It was like a celebration of life.
Yeah, kinda. And yeah, so I because when I saw him putting on the suit, I went, "Oh, here we go!" Like we're gonna go right into this funeral, and it wasn't. It was just them at the Smithsonian opening up this Captain America section of the museum, and
well, I think they were adding to the one that was already there.
Yeah, but yeah, what I meant was just like showing his legacy from beginning to end. And I liked it. Yeah, Rachel, I will agree with that. It was some type of eulogy in a way. I was just glad that we didn't see like the whole like Peggy Carter type funeral thing that they gave us in the past. It was kind of a nice little twist in a way, like because I 100% thought we were getting a funeral, but it was not cheerful, but like a little bit more optimistic. I feel like doing it that way.
It felt like a celebration of what he had accomplished.
Yeah, it wasn't a celebration of life type situation. So and then him giving up the shield,
which comes back around, which we'll get to. But that's obviously a big deal, and because the last time we saw the shield, Steve had given it off to Sam,
and they made it a point to play his voice.
And I was literally just about to say when he was in the room, they played the voiceover of that moment. Like it feels like it belongs to someone else. Well, it doesn't. Mm-hmm. Like such a great addition to that scene to kind of add to the levity there. Jacob, we see Sam in these smaller moments, right? He's at his family home. He's getting to the museum, and he delivers a speech about Cap, and he hands the shield over. What are the thoughts going through your head?
So I thought that the reason why they were holding this event was because the shield was coming to the museum. I thought maybe that's what it was for.
Yeah,
because the museum's already been there.
And
saw
that
it in Winter
the government
Soldier.
guy said like, oh, like good call handing.
So
it
I think
over.
it was
That's
a
good point.
celebration of the shield coming to the museum.
I know this is skipping. Sorry, I can't remember. Was that guy the one that said thank you for handing it over? The one
The same one that announced.
Okay.
Yes.
Where is he from?
Sorry, Jake.
He's the same one at the end announcing the new Captain America. Which one?
Oh yeah. That was
same
him.
guy.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that was him.
I couldn't remember if they were different.
So I thought it was interesting because they come out right away and tell us that at least at first, Sam doesn't take up the mantle, which could he have just done that? I mean, Captain America, I guess originally the government created him, but he didn't belong to anybody. So could Sam have just been like, yeah, I'm going to take up the mantle? And maybe this is a whole journey for him to end up doing that. But yeah, I liked it. It was a good opening to the show. And we got to see Rhodey as well, which was pretty cool.
Actually did not expect that. I don't know if they announced that, but when I saw him, I kind of was like, oh.
It was like just boom right there. He was just naturally there. It was cool.
Also it made a lot of sense because I don't remember the exact wording, but Sam was talking about something inside of his speech about Steve, or maybe someone else had said something, and they were talking about Steve and Sam, but it related to Rhodey and Tony. And they panned the camera over to him because remember he lost Tony. Yeah. Sam lost Steve, but Rhodey lost Tony, which is just as big or maybe even a bigger deal. I'm pretty sure that it was the very first moment we saw him. But if you rewatch it, something is said and the camera pans to him, and I'm like, oh well, it's an obvious nod to him and Tony as well, because those are like the two biggest things that relationships that were essentially severed.
That's a fair point, because there's not going to be another Iron Man, but essentially Rhodey's the other Iron Man.
They're in the exact same situation.
Yeah,
the exact same.
That's
situation.
a great point.
Good catch.
Think about that.
Yeah, it was a really, really great way to start the episode off, and it kind of plays what I was talking about earlier, like the small moments, like these smaller or not action-packed moments that mean so much to the characters and the story that's being told. And I think that they're doing a really good job of showing that, yes, this show is going to be MCU driven and it's going to feel very much like a big screen movie on a small screen, but they're able to do stuff that a movie can't. They can tell these small moments, right? These like for example, like those Age of Ultron moments when they're at Hawkeye's ranch. Like those small moments between these characters that a lot of MCU movies don't. And Brian made a good point. There's a lot of those in The Winter Soldier. Cap and Natasha at Falcon's house. That's a small moment that we got in that movie that it feels very similar.
And there's very quiet moments. And it reminded me, there's a scene in the hallway when Sam and Cap are talking, and he's like, "What are you going to do next?" And Cap's like, "I don't know."
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Just a quiet moment. Yeah,
running the AA or not
very,
the AA, like
very
war
did
veterans. Yeah,
feel like well, look, Civil War is a whole different thing, but it had that Winter Soldier tone.
Absolutely,
the whole time.
Absolutely, and I loved it. And I will just say, I know everybody on our last trivia session was like, "That's not a good hint." The shield is a symbol, guys. The shield is a symbol. Just saying.
Hey, I got it.
I mean, it is, and 100% it is.
All right, let's go ahead and move.
It's not in the form of trivia.
I mean, it worked out, and they just backed up my my hint there. Let's go and jump though, because the next sequence that we got, is Sam in action. We got Sam in action here, and my sweet goodness, was this a beautiful? And it's funny because watching the trailers and going into the scene, I'm like, oh my God, they're doing this scene now. We saw the shots of Bucky and Sam together on the Air Force, with the Air Force on the plane. I'm like, wait, is this the first time we see Bucky? And then we learn it's just Sam. He's been working with the Air Force for 6 months, essentially like just doing one-off jobs whenever they need him. And then we get the reappearance of Batrick. Mm-hmm. Batrick is back. And played by what's his name? George St. Pierre.
Yeah.
George St. Pierre.
George St. Pierre. Yeah. GSP. Yeah. And what a cool way to bring him back. Very similar, again, to what they did with him in the Winter Soldier. Instead of a boat, it's now helicopters and flying suits and stuff, and it's just insanity. And the action felt so big screen in this situation.
Oh yeah.
And obviously seeing Sam fly around and dodge rockets and do his tricks, and
I love Sam when he flies in
the
that
way
suit.
the way he flew through the helicopter to grab the Air Force soldier was
And
incredible.
kicks a couple of them out.
It was so incredible. But yeah, I mean, I understand that being in a TV screen, the CGI might be a little lesser than a film. But to me, there wasn't a single moment I was like, oh, that's bad CG. Like, I was so invested in what was happening that I was
That's not
enjoying the
real.
hell out of it.
That's real.
I wish it was, dude. Look, when you watch this scene, you like they're doing things in the moment of like, this is how good Sam is with the wings.
Yeah.
Like we've seen him with the wings before, right? But it's in very small moments. We get quick shots of him flying or doing things, but this was like an extended sequence of multiple things that were going on, and you see how really good he is with these wings.
Yeah, and it's just him. Most of the action we've seen, there's other stuff going on, you know. This was just him, so it was cool.
Yeah, I agree with Chuck too in this comment where it absolutely looked real. Like, I mean, it gave me, what is it? Mission Impossible kind of, where he flies through the canyon or something. But yeah, he was killing people. he did not care. He was throwing people out of planes, kicking them out of helicopters,
blowing up helicopters. I think GSP was the only one to survive. Like,
I think so.
I mean, look, I don't wear those wingsuits for a living, but I have a hard time believing that you can just jump out of a helicopter and then start going again with a wingsuit. That's just me.
Yeah, probably not.
But they had to make him live, and he's going to come back in somehow.
Yeah.
Well, they made a point to make sure he got out of the helicopter before.
I would love to see him reappear.
Oh yeah, I mean, and just for the action.
Well, and they did a really cool thing again when Sam first showed up in the plane. He whooped everybody's ass, but GSP's. GSP destroyed him.
Yeah,
like you could see Batrick's fighting style and how good he is, and it's the character from the comics. That's how good he is in the comics. That's what he's able to do. He's not a super villain with powers or like some kind of alien technology or something. He is just a dude who will whoop your ass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just a pure fighter.
Yeah,
that leaps.
That will true.
But yeah, no, the whole time, like, Sam, I was just laughing a little bit because he was just like throwing people out. I'm like, that person's dead. He just killed that person. And I love that the wings are more than just things to fly. Like how he flips around and uses it as a shield and then does other stuff. It's just like nice. Like these are actually like cool things that they like are important. And Rachel said it right here. Red Wing is freaking sweet.
Red Wing is another Falcon. There's two of them.
Yes. It's, to me, it is incredible how they made Falcon go from this like unitard character from the comics with a pet bird, Hawk, to like an actual dope character that it makes sense. He doesn't have superpowers.
Yeah,
he just has this sweet tech.
He's one of the best upgrades adaptation wise. Like if you were to look at every character, he's one of the best.
He's no longer a sidekick. He's a main hero. He was a sidekick in the comics. Absolutely. He was.
Yeah, and the fact that they're not, he doesn't just speak to a bird or something like that. It makes
that was
sense.
Kind of a dumb little thing. So.
No, I know, but I'm saying the way they changed it went from a bird
is
like a drone type thing.
Well, are they implying that Red Wing is an AI? That's what I'm getting from it.
No, because
he talks to it.
I think it is as like a thing.
I mean,
like,
it is.
Man. It feels like he's talking to like Jarvis.
It goes and flies on its own, right? Like he's not controlling it.
That's what I'm saying. Like I like it. Almost feels like it's his version of Jarvis.
Yeah, but I think it's limited to just the drone, though. You know,
because the soldier also said the soldier that he's kind of befriended a little bit, said that all that Stark tech you have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe
I just think it's advanced. I just think it's advanced Stark tech.
intelligence, advanced intelligence.
Well, I'm sure he's
No.
gotten some upgrades.
Like
I
an
would hope
advanced-
so.
And it's an advanced weapon. Like, I think the joke is that he's talking to it because in the comics it would be an actual bird that he's talking to.
I'm
But I think
not
it's a
this
punch.
is such a minor thing, but I would love for it to be an AI. I
No,
would love for it to be.
I
an AI.
honestly-
It'd be smart. It'd be
I think
cool.
it is an AI. I don't, because he calls on it to do things, and it's not like he has a remote control or anything like that. It's acting on its own. So
and that thing, like I want a hot toy Red Wing.
I mean,
just Red Wing.
I mean,
That actually works too.
yeah, I guess because you would consider like an Alexa an AI, right?
Yeah, in a way.
And
I mean,
you're
Alexa
giving,
talk back to you. She'll talk shit about you. So
yeah. So in that sense, yeah, I guess because he's telling it to.
But
do
it's not
stuff.
as advanced as Jarvis or anything like that.
I thought you were going to say it's not as advanced as Alexa.
Oh.
all right, so
That'd be funny.
after the whole action sequence, we see Sam sitting at a table with the soldier, and I don't have his name off the top of my head.
Joaquin Torres.
Is his name Torres? So his
Is that
name
the
is Torres.
character name?
Do you not know? Did you not? I thought you would have looked it up. Do you not know that that's an actual Marvel character?
No, I know now, but I don't know the human's name. I don't know the human name of him.
So Joaquin Torres is a new version of Falcon. in the
Yeah,
comics.
yeah. I
Which is a cool
read
nod.
that earlier.
Which maybe
Yeah.
he picks up wings at some point.
Maybe.
I
mean,
like
we know
because
that
I was
seems
like,
like he's-
who is this random guy?
Well, it seems like he's going to be a recurring character, which is really cool. That's
Yeah.
really, really cool.
I mean, the wings thing is a possibility because it's a division in the military.
Well, and obviously we know about Riley from the Winter Soldier, Sam's partner.
yeah,
so there's-
aren't they paratroopers?
Paratroopers.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, like Chuck said, he's recent. Like he's a newish character, but he's an actual character. Whether or not they give him wings,
It would absolutely make sense if like the Air Force picked up the wing thing again. You know, they mentioned government contracts inside the episode. It could definitely be something we see in the future of the MCU. But let's go and fast forward away from this scene just a little bit in Sam, and let's get to the first time we see Bucky and this incredible back and forth.
isn't there? Don't they sit down for coffee, and that's when we get the introduction of the
Well, so we get the introduction of the bad guys at the table.
yeah
Yeah,
the Flag
the bad guys.
Smashers.
And we learn
Love
that,
that.
you know, and I think Chuck had said it earlier. We learned that they essentially want the world to go back to when the blip had happened.
Never crossed my mind ever that could be a thing. That there are people that actually liked the blip.
Yeah.
Like I thought, oh, obviously Thanos, that's like his goal, but I don't know why. Never once did it ever cross my mind that there would be people in this universe that liked it the way it was before. And to use that now as a organization, it literally blew my mind when I heard it. I was like, oh my God, that's genius. Like I didn't even think about
I agree.
that.
I absolutely agreed. It, you know, those people like this organization now were probably in a little bit more power those 5 years than they are now with everything kind of coming back into play. And it's a very smart storyline that nobody thought about. It's very cool. It comes back to play later in the episode. So after Sam gets up and walks away, we get our first sequence with Bucky in this incredible back and forth with his therapist.
So good.
And we see this hard-headed, stubborn, very peaceful, mysterious character of Bucky trying to open up and being a total smartass at the same time. Jacob, what did you think of this whole therapy session that Bucky had to start this episode off?
I enjoyed it a lot because, of course, from what he went through, he would be having, you know, some type of therapy. And it was a really good back and forth. And I like when she's like, let me see your phone. And she's like, you haven't talked to anybody. I'm the only person you've called. And like, you're not returning Sam's calls, which we learned too. I loved the whole episode and both characters, but what really grabbed me was the Bucky storyline, to be honest. And it starts here where he's just he's just tortured by the things that he's done, you know? And it was so, because they don't have time to do this in one of the Avengers movies, you know, or even maybe not even a Civil War, but that's why I love that they're doing this, because on the TV show they can take time to like show a therapy session with Bucky. So,
Yep.
And I think we're going to see her again too. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So I loved that.
This was the best part. You're really gonna do
Yeah. She said, "You don't talk, I write stuff."
it is, you know, and she had said that his mind's back and he's free and he's no longer. We knew that he was no longer brainwashed, and he mentioned Wakanda, which is a really cool thing about how he just felt different there. And he's been fighting.
That's when he had peace.
Yeah, he's been fighting every other day since, and before and after. But yeah, it was really cool to see Bucky in that situation, just because this is the first time we've seen Bucky be Bucky, right? He's not the Winter Soldier anymore. He's Bucky. And you know, he even says it in the episode, because they're talking about him, you know, righting his wrongs essentially, and he's going to people, like the whole sequence of the Hydra agent, the
lady
senator
in the car,
and he goes, "I'm James Bucky Barnes, and you're no longer like, or whatever he said. You're no longer controlling.
I'm no longer the Winter Soldier."
Yeah, whatever he said. It was hilarious, but it obviously plays into what's happening with this story currently. And I missed a scene that actually happened right before this, but the flashback of the Winter Soldier, which led into this therapy scene. We see Bucky wake up from the nightmare that he had, not knowing at the time how it would affect what was going to happen. But we learned that, you know, he was on a mission as the Winter Soldier, and he killed some people as the Winter Soldier, and he ended up killing a civilian, a young Asian man. And we learned that by righting his wrongs in this notebook he has, he's befriended the father of that young man, because he can't tell him that he killed his son. Which is a very big thing that's going on, and it's showing that Bucky has a heart again, right? He's, like the therapist said, he's back to normal. He's free of everything that kind of happened to him. Again, playing those small moments, those small emotional moments that a lot of this show really has right now.
Yeah, and Chuck beat me to it by like 5 seconds. The thing that Marvel does is they make things so real, like real things, like people from the military, they sleep on the floor because beds are too soft, and that's what they literally did. And just they really are like diving into so much truth of like a PTSD situation.
This is the realest the MCU will ever feel compared to our world in these type of stories.
Yeah, especially this one, because I mean, some organization has come up, stuff like that. One thing I did want to bring up is the fact that the reason he's doing this is because he got pardoned by the government.
Yes.
Which
It's part of his part. Yeah, he has to go to therapy.
Yeah, so this is a condition. I mean, he's not a good person at this point. I mean, he's done some horrible things. He has been trying to make amends for it, but I mean, he keeps getting drawn back into things. So the government giving him that type of, because I mean, let's be honest, like there's certain things that you're just like, how is this guy going to get redeemed? Well, now we know why, because the government has now pardoned him. This is part of his thing. He's not allowed to do those 3 things, which the second rule being more, what was it? You're not allowed to hurt anyone. And that's the second rule.
Yeah. I love his response. If it's so important, why isn't it the first rule?
Yeah, and she just gives him this like, shut up. Yeah, so he ain't there because he's trying to get right. He's being forced to be there. So he wants to do it. He wants to obviously be a good person, but this is not his choice to be doing a therapy session. He doesn't want to be there. He's got a little notebook with names of people he's trying to make amends to. That Hydra scene was hilarious. How he's bending the rules to suit his needs, but and then that little Jake, I completely agree, where he recites his little like mantra to be good. I was cracking up. But yeah, it's genius because it's giving us, I mean, you can't do bad things and go unpunished in a way. And to him right now, this is his punishment. Doing therapy. He doesn't want to do it. He clearly doesn't want to. But in order to do the right thing, this is what he's got to do. And it's something so small but so funny. And that therapist is going to be a fan favorite. I feel like she's just going to be hilarious this whole entire time. And she's a vet, so she understands him a little bit more.
Oh yeah,
that mindset.
I liked when she said that. I was like, that's cool, because at least she can relate a little bit.
Yeah, she said something along like, "You can't fool me. I went through the same thing."
And I'm glad you mentioned the Notebook, Brian, because I think Bucky's literally gonna try to right all his wrongs that he possibly can. You know,
as many as he can.
It's like there's different scenarios, right? Like the Asian man, he killed his son. This corrupt politician, he helped her get to where she was, so he kind of took her down. So it's like an addict, apologizing to everybody that they affected their lives, but instead Bucky is handling all these situations accordingly. And man, seeing him once you find out that is the dad of that man that he killed, it's heartbreaking.
So
heartbreaking.
I didn't know right away, but when they sat down and went to lunch together, I kind of had this feeling.
Well, they reveal it to us later.
It's going to come back at some point. And
I'm stupid. I was so into it, it didn't even cross my mind until I went.
At first, I didn't notice it. I thought he was just like hanging out with some old man, but
me too.
It's crazy. Like that's in-depth, like emotional storytelling. It's awesome.
Speaking, you got a baby over there? What was that?
Kylo and his toy. Speaking of the scene with the old man asking the girl out on the date for Bucky. Amazing.
That was so
amazing. That was cool.
And I love when she goes, she doesn't know who he is, which is so cool, right? She doesn't know who he is. She goes, "So what's up with the gloves?" And he goes, "Poor circulation." like what?
Like if he doesn't hang out with her more, he's not going to have a giant metal arm.
And she goes, "So how old are you?" And he goes, 108. And he's like,
yeah, she thinks he's joking. And he's actually telling the truth. But I feel like he could just in modern day, like he's like, "I was a soldier and I lost my arm. I have a robotic arm. That's it."
Or he could say like, "I just helped save the world with the Avengers." And then she'd be like,
exactly.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we saw what the bank teller did to Sam, being like, "Oh, you're an Avenger." Like, who knows what it'd be for Bucky?
Well, and it's not like you can make like the Falcon a famous celebrity superhero, but you can't make the Winter Soldier a famous celebrity superhero. You know what I mean? So nobody knows who he is, like they do even War Machine or Falcon.
Yeah, that's a great point, because you look at like the characters that you see, like Black Panther. Captain America,
think of
Thor.
that diner scene in Endgame when the kids want to take a picture with Hulk. Like you can't do that with Winter Soldier.
Absolutely not. Yeah. And for the majority of his life, he's been undercover, and then when he isn't, he's hiding in Wakanda. So he's not people don't know him. To be honest, I don't even think, do people really even know that Bucky is back?
The general public have no idea who he is.
Yeah. And he doesn't exist as Bucky Barnes, because in the museum, he's still displayed as the one that died.
Oh, that he died. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they focus in on that shot. They focus in on that shot in the museum.
You know what I forget about so Cap went down in the ice, right? He was in there for 70 years. Bucky was alive this whole time. And he had that alone sucks. Like just to be immortal and live through everything, it's crazy.
Oh my God. Watching. That's my guy. He's right.
We better not get on his bad side.
Right there. He's right there.
Right there. All right. Let's go ahead and move forward a little bit from the stuff with Bucky, and let's go ahead and shift gears to Sam and his family. We learn that he's staying with his sister and his two nephews. And we learn that he's essentially trying to help his sister get their business back afloat. She didn't blip. She was alive the 5 years, and she struggled. Oh God. But
this might be a regular.
Yeah,
going forward.
Works for me.
We see Sam. They have I don't want to say a shrimp business, but a fish business.
It was
a shrimp business? Okay.
Because the only reason I know that is because there was a poster that said Shrimp Fest.
Okay. I didn't know what they're in Louisiana. And I wasn't sure exactly what it was.
It's seafood, but I think it was shrimp because when they were inside her house, there was a poster that said Shrimp Fest, something from like her parents a long time ago.
This is so good. This is just so good. But anyway, so yeah, Sam, he's with his sister, he's with his nephews, obviously playing the cool uncle, very friendly, and it's a family business they've had for a very, very, very long time. They're at struggling times, trying to get the business back afloat. Later on in the episode, not right this moment, but it all kind of comes together. They try and go get a bank loan to help with the situation. It doesn't end up working out, but this seems like it's going to be a thread throughout the season of helping his sister, helping his family, try to get this business back going, which to me, I love. That's a total TV show thing to do. And again, like I mentioned earlier, it's not something you can do on the big screen. It's not something you can do on the big screen. And it worked out really well. I thought it played to the characters great. I love seeing these quieter home life moments with these characters, and then they kind of team back up for other things. I loved everything with Sam's family. I don't know about you guys.
No, I did too. It was great. And that's another thing. Like, to me, Bucky trying to right his wrongs, and then Sam trying to save his family business and help his sister out, being an uncle. That was the emotional story arc for him, and another reason why it's so good.
Yeah, and it's showing that these are real people in these worlds that are just doing good deeds. I mean, he said, the sister asked, "Are you getting paid for it?" Nope. I hopefully get a favor here and there, but that's it, which is kind of funny that they actually address that superheroes aren't getting paid.
Well, so this Chuck's here says, how did Stark not set up a pay? They just put their lives on the line as goodwill. It's a thing we never thought about, and they were able to do in this series. They were able to bring that up.
Well, yeah, and so I mean, they have lives, they have family to take care of, they have stuff they need to do. I mean, that's good. That threw me off because that was good. Yeah, they're just, at the end of the day, they're normal people. These two, well, I mean, Bucky does have a little bit of superpowers, but Sam is just a regular person trying to do good things for people all over the world.
No wonder she had a Buick.
Stop it, you guys are throwing me off with these good comments. But yeah, no, they're just normal people trying to make ends meet. He's not getting paid for it. He's just trying to do the right thing. The sister seems to hold a little resentment that she got stuck running this business while he went off to join the military and then
save the world, essentially.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it's just, it's things that if these were happening in the real world, these are things that would be going on, that these people would be facing, especially Sam, because like I said, he's a normal person. He has no superpowers. He's got a really cool suit that he can do things with, but that's it. So
yeah, it kind of changed my perspective a little bit. I always assumed that like the Avengers had a salary, to be honest, that like Stark paid them. But I'm guessing like while you're an Avenger, you can go stay at, Avengers headquarters and they have whatever you need there, so it's not like you need anything else. But I never thought they would dive into that, which was crazy. And they spent like, I don't know how long it was, but like at least a 5-minute scene of them just talking to this guy trying to get a loan. And I'm like, damn, that's crazy that he literally fought against aliens trying to destroy our world, was blipped away for 5 years, and he can't even like afford to save his family's business. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Rachel has a good question here. What happened to Sam's military pension? I'm guessing that it went away when he disappeared. I'm guessing that being that half the universe and knowing that at that time, like, well, these people aren't just going to reappear.
Dead for 5
years. They're going to dump
the loan scene. Hence the loan scene.
There has to be like a save the blip people like campaign or something like to like give them funds or something, you know?
Well, they addressed that with that loan scene when he said
they changed everything. Yeah.
He says, "What was your income for the last 5 years?" He goes, "I didn't have one. Didn't exist." And sorry that when people disappeared and came back, they changed things. So,
so true.
But
his selfie poses, by the way, were terrible.
Yeah,
like the little wing thing.
Oh, I know, the right?
Asks him to do the wings out. But yeah, again, real type of thing. It was, sell Bucky's arm. But
worth so much money.
Yeah,
I mean, Hayward said in WandaVision how much vibranium is worth.
Yeah, so I mean, again, he has this confidence. I'm an Avenger. The guy is going to give me a loan because I'm an Avenger. I save the world. People usually give me favors if need be. Sorry, dude. This is money. Money doesn't just come to people. So, and the sister obviously got upset over it because she bought into what he was selling, and unfortunately, it came up with nothing. So. Yeah. And again, I agree with Jake in the fact that this type of deep dive stuff, you're not going to get in a movie. This is like, for story wise, it's brilliant. It's absolutely
like what Jacob
brilliant.
said, you'll never see a 5 to 10 minute scene of characters sitting at a bank asking for a loan inside of an MCU movie.
No,
you'll never.
And if it was, it would be some funny, humorous.
Exactly. It'd be a comedy bit. Which is not a bad thing.
Maybe an Ant-Man, I could see that. But
okay, yeah, we did get a Baskin-Robbins scene in Ant-Man, which is fair. That's fair.
Yeah, but that's known for comedy. You're not going to see a jokey Captain America bank loan scene. So yeah, it's again stuff you're probably only going to see on TV, and it works. It's deepening the story.
Yeah.
So yeah.
After this, the next scene that happens is Torres goes undercover with, and I forget the name of the organization, Brian. What's the name of the organization?
The Flag Smashers.
The Flag Smashers. So he goes undercover trying to get some more intel. He gets the crap,
which is a real thing in the MCU, by the way.
Yeah. But he gets the crap beat out of him. He's tracking him, essentially trying to get some more info, and he comes across what essentially we can consider a superhuman person, a very large superhuman person. And he gets his face smashed in. He sends a video to Sam. Sam kind of, they're on conversation with it. Sam's looking at it. He has this thought of what I'm guessing the superhero serum, if I'm not mistaken, when he kind of just paused and didn't say anything.
Yeah. He knows something's up.
And then right after that, they're talking, he asks him to keep him updated. His sister walks in and says, Sam, you got to watch this. And it's the reveal. The US of A has announced a brand new Captain America. And they keep saying that the United States of America needs a new hero. They need a hero. They need a leader. And they announce, and we see Wyatt Russell's character announced as the new Captain America. He's got a whole new setup. And the big part here, he is rocking the shield that Sam gave to the museum. The exact same shield, which is a huge part of this. That is not something to be overlooked, and it's going to be a huge story point going forward. Jacob, I mean, this is the closing moment of the scene. We get a look at U.S. Agent. What did you think of all these final moments here?
Well, first of all, I loved that the episode was a good amount, like 40 minutes or so. Really good time.
I think it was like 45 minutes.
But I was enjoying it so much, and when it ended, I was like, "What? No!" But it made sense to end right there.
It felt like you were watching a movie.
Like a little bit. Yeah.
Movie. Yeah.
I liked it. It was a great little cliffhanger there because we've been paying attention to the development of this. We know he's going to be in the show, but imagine casual viewers watching. They're like, "Whoa, what? A new Captain America?" Like they don't know what's going on. So that was done well, and just with the eye wink, Wyatt Russell just perfect for this role. Like he
looks like such a douche.
Yeah, exactly. Just like if it's the douchiest guy in high school became Captain America, that's what it's like.
Yeah.
And it was such a dramatic scene too. The way they played it, it was like this is a huge deal.
Oh yeah.
And now if Sam wants to go take the shield back, he's essentially going against the U.S. government. But they freaking lied to him. I don't know.
Well, that's why there's
situation.
there's something going on that feels very Winter Soldier-esque, right? Like someone involved.
The fact that the guy said you did the right thing.
Yes,
me
there's someone involved that is curating all of this, and I feel like it's gonna be like an undercover thing where they try to uncover the truth, and that person eventually either dies or gets arrested, and Sam is allowed to have the shield back at some point. But it's very interesting.
Or he just mono fights him and takes it from him.
Well, that's very possible. What I'm saying is for the reason of not going up against the U.S. government is what I'm saying. You know, and I don't want that to happen just because it would feel very paint by the numbers Winter Soldier. It's pretty much like almost to the T what the story was there, going up against everything that they knew Shield at the time, and uncovering all of these truths. But either way, it's very intriguing. It's very Wyatt Russell looks like a total dick in that suit. Like just like the way he was smirking and everything. Like this dude looks like the prototypical choice of the US of A, and it sucks. Like it absolutely sucks. I'm very interested though. Like I'm excited to see Wyatt Russell as his character. I really am. I think he's a really good actor. He fits the build. He's a very big dude as well. And if he buffed up compared to what he usually looks like, he could be a very intimidating looking person. This is so good. US of Agent is total yes man.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have 5 episodes left. They need to get to the point on a lot of this stuff very quickly. I wouldn't be surprised if the next episode has a lot of backstory for his character. You know, where he came from. Obviously, he's an ex-soldier, heavily involved in I believe it was the Army, if I'm not mistaken. They can obviously change it, but I believe he was actually in the Army. Yeah, I'm so interested in this whole shield aspect, right? I know that the show was going to focus heavily on Sam picking up the shield and like kind of what it meant and stuff like that. But now that someone actually has that shield, now what happens? Like that's a big thing.
He literally was given the shield by Captain America and gave it up, and now someone else has it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was other than just me, but he clearly seemed like he was like,
like, what did I do?
Someone else? What? Yeah, and why is someone else holding it?
He was pissed and like hurt, honestly.
So,
well, it was like that regretful moment. Like, what did I just do?
Yeah, 100%. So, yeah, I'm excited. I'm very excited. This is going to be a 6-episode Winter Soldier-esque, I feel like, type of thing that
I can't wait for when Bucky and Sam first meet up.
Dude, it's gonna be. I'm gonna get so emotional, like
because I didn't know they were gonna make us wait at least one episode.
They're gonna have these like really cool like hate funny moments toward each other, but when they get going with each other, I'm gonna like totally.
Oh yeah, they respect each other.
They're not gonna be like happy to see each other. It's gonna just be like, what's up?
Well,
like
so
that.
I think that's gonna be Bucky's side, but it seems like Sam keeps reaching out to him.
Yeah, but like. They're just still gonna be their normal smart asses where it's like you look like crap or something like that as like their hello.
Yeah, so, exactly.
I'm so excited. This episode got me so juiced. It got me so absolutely juiced. Yeah. Well, I think if everyone is good, that can wrap up today's rewind, guys. Any other thoughts on the first episode?
No. Do you think Zemo's in the next one?
Yes, I think he has to be.
Yeah,
I personally think he has to be because we only have 5 episodes left. We do. Like, you know, if his story is really going to be fleshed out, you can't have him in the last like 3 episodes.
Yeah. Well, and I do think I know we speculated this a lot with WandaVision. I do think other episodes are going to be longer. Like, because the first episode is 45 minutes. So
I think there's a possibility we touch like 55 minutes with
like WandaVision, the first episode was like 28 minutes or something, right? So if we go by that model, and this is only 6, I'm guessing we'll get like 55 minutes. And when I say 55 minutes, I mean before credits. But I'm curious how Agent 13 comes into play too.
What is she doing right now?
They will find her in Madripoor.
Yeah, that makes the most sense. She's going to be on some kind of mission.
That makes sense. Yeah.
She's gonna be
She'll
on and do you everyone agree that she's
Well, I don't think she's going to be on a mission. I think she's on the run because she committed a crime. She broke the Sokovia Accords by giving them their stuff back. in the
well,
Civil
yes,
War.
but that was before the blip and everything.
So she could still be on the run. How do you know she wasn't blipped and they're still looking for her? Like, we don't know. I think she's on the run, personally. The way she had the hood up and all that stuff. That's just my guess.
We will find out hopefully
Possibly,
soon because I would love to see more of her very, very soon. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up today's Rewind. Thank you to everyone who has been watching, commenting along. We really, really appreciate it. Love the support. Love hanging out with you guys. All your questions, your comments. Keep it up every Friday right here on Apocaflix Movies for Marvel Rewind, 4 p.m. Pacific, right here on the channel. Usually there's another fourth with us. Gio's also with us. Keith pops in if he's able to, if he's off.
Gio's still watching the Snyder Cut.
Yeah, we have
It's on
5 weeks
replay.
left. We have 5 weeks left of the Falcon and Winter Soldier, and we're getting into it, guys. It's gonna be good. If this is the first episode was an indication of anything, it's gonna be really, really good. So for Brian, Jacob, and myself, thank you guys so much for all the support, the love, and watching along, commenting. We really appreciate it, and we will see you guys next week.